Okay, so first let me introduce our presenter to you today. Today we have with us Joanne Kinsey. Joanne is a family and community health sciences educator and associate professor at Rutgers Cooperative Extension in Atlantic and Ocean counties. We are funded through the New Jersey Agriculture Experiment Station. Ms. Kinsey has a master's degree from Drexel University. She is certified as a workforce wellness specialist and is also a registered yoga teacher. Joanne's specialization areas are nutrition, worksite wellness and healthy lifestyles, human development, laughter therapy, and technology and education. She's also developed the Healthy on the Job Workforce Wellness Program, which provides evidence-based information to employers and their employees. Joanne also enjoys making simple online recipes and videos for our consumers. So today, Joanne will discuss and provide simple tips for being mindful and creating a healthy, calm environment in your life. So without further ado, I'll hand things off to you, Joanne.
Thank you, Rachel. Okay, let's get started. As Rachel said, we are part of the New Jersey Agricultural Experiment Station, and we're located in land-grant universities, and that would be Rutgers University here in New Jersey. And as you can see, the experiment station deals with lots of topics, and you can find us under the food, nutrition, and health topic. Okay, let's take a look at stress, how that works in your body, what it does to your body, how to maybe avoid some stress, how your diet interacts, and look at some physical activity, how sleep affects your health for the good and for the negative, and how we can help ourselves by having some me time. And we're going to talk a lot about brain health. So as you can see, self-care is very important today. We are living in very stressful times, and everybody needs to take a step back once in a while and think about, am I taking care of myself? And I often think about what happens when we are flying in an airplane, when the flight attendants come out at first and talk about the oxygen masks. And they always say that you should put your oxygen mask on first before you can help somebody else. And I feel pretty much this is the way it works with stress. If you don't take care of yourself and do some self-care types of things, then you can't take care of all the other people in your life. So for a few minutes, we're going to just put ourselves first. I know it seems kind of funny. We don't do that very often, but it's time we think about it. Before we do that, let's talk about stress and where it comes from and basically what happens to our bodies as a result of stress. And as you can see, I'm not going to read the slides to you, but as you can see, stress can really create some wear and tear on our minds as well as our bodies. And we'll look at the physical reactions and the emotional reactions of having too much stress in just a couple minutes. But what's very important to know is that stress is normal. We all have stress. We all have various amounts of stress depending on the day, the weather, the deadlines we have. And there are some times when stress is good for us and sometimes when stress is not so good. But please know that everybody has stress. What's different is the way people handle stress. So that's really where we can make a little bit of change, maybe in our lives, and handle stress a little bit more differently. So where does stress come from? It comes from two places. It comes from external sources and from internal sources. So first, let's take a look at external stressors. So what are we talking about? We're talking about everything that's around us. It could be the lighting in the room, or if lights are blinking or not enough light, or if it's too hot or too cold where you are. That puts stress on our bodies, and sometimes we're not even thinking about it. It's there and it's annoying, and maybe sometimes we can't do anything about it, and it does become very stressful. There's also stress around us in social interactions with anybody and everybody. It could be that you are stressed when you're in line at the supermarket because it's a very long line, because the people behind you are not staying a safe distance away. It could be the noise or a lighting in the store. I mean, just being in a supermarket or any market is usually stressful to begin with. So maybe you're watching some people around you and you're thinking, oh my goodness, why are they treating that child that way? Or how come these people over here in line are arguing with each other? Or how come they're arguing with the person behind the register? These kind of interactions, even though they don't directly affect us, they can raise our level of stress. Sometimes the social interactions are right in our face, though, right? Could be that somebody's very bossy or aggressive or kind of bullying you, and that puts a certain stress on your body too. We also have lots of stress around us, all of us every day, with deadlines that we have to meet, our time schedule, and maybe just the bureaucratic red tape of our jobs or of the world in general. As I say that, I think of waiting in line at motor vehicle, right? I don't even have to tell you what kind of stress that can bring out in people. Some of these situations that we have to live with in life can be very, very stressful. And maybe they're not, that significant in our life, but they can certainly add up to stress in your day. There are also stresses that can be good and bad stress, like looking at birth of a new child. I mean, that's a wonderful event, right? But it's also very stressful in some ways. And these major life events and the major changes in life, as you can imagine, can be very, very stressful. And then there's just the daily hassles, the things that can happen every day. Maybe for you it is commuting, or maybe for you it is forgetting your keys, or where are my keys? And you start thinking, where did I last have my keys for the car? I can't go to work until I find my keys. And you can really compound stress in that simple situation so quickly. It's just the simplest things can make you very, very stressed. So let's take a look at internal stressors. Now, the external stressors we can deal with, maybe sometimes better than others. And sometimes we can't control the external stressors. We can't control the weight of the line in the supermarket, and we can't control the people around us who may be rude or whatever. But the internal stressors, these are the ones we can have a little bit of control over. Um, Maybe you'd like to have a lot of control over them. That would be great, but you may have to work at it. You may have to kind of train yourself to be able to deal with these internal stressors. How about the lifestyle choices? Well, people like caffeine. People like coffee in the morning or tea or chocolate. um, those kinds of foods, I know, we feel like we have to have them, and maybe we do, but they also put stress on your body. And the reason for that is because of the caffeine content in them. So, caffeine is known to raise your blood pressure a little bit. So, that becomes a stressor on your body. Lack of sleep is so, so important because if you wake up in the morning and you've had a very restless night's sleep, just tossed and turned, and you feel like you hardly slept at all, you are waking up with a body and a mind that is stressed from the beginning. So you've had these days before, probably, when you're stressed and then everything goes wrong that day. Everything that happens creates more and more stress on you and your body, and it just becomes one of those days. You know what I'm talking about. uh, Negative self-talk, this is really very interesting. We need to not be so critical of ourselves, and not be analyzing ourselves so much all the time. And pessimistic thinking, is really part of that too. So how do you control that? Well, easier said than done, right? If we only had that little switch on our mind where we could turn off our thinking. Unfortunately, it doesn't work that way. So we have to deal with this type of thing. What we have to do is not allow ourselves to get into what is called mind traps. And that is when you let this thinking really get under your skin and you take everything personally and you get upset at anything because you're looking for perfection in your day, maybe perfection in your life. And it's really very unrealistic. So we need to kind of learn to be able to not get stuck in these mind traps. And how do you do that? Easier said than done. What you can do when you see that you're kind of repeating something over and over in your mind and you're just dwelling on this, and the more you think about it, the more stressed you become. Sometimes you just need to train yourself to say, stop, stop, stop this thinking and change your thinking to something else. Maybe that's when you need a walk. Maybe that's when you just need to change your behavior for just a few minutes, or take a break, because mind traps can be really very dangerous for you. They can create a huge amount of stress on your body that maybe didn't need to be there. But then, okay, personality traits. You may know some people that fall into this workaholics, perfectionist type of category. And you put that much stress on yourself, you really create your own problem. Um, Being a perfectionist is one thing. Being good at what you do is probably much more realistic than thinking you need to be perfect at everything you do. So take a step back, think about these, maybe watch this recording again to think about, well, do I do this? Do I get caught in negative thinking? Do I get caught in these mind traps? And see if you can find ways of distancing yourself from that. Meditation is very good when you're very stressed or you're really getting yourself stuck in a mind trap. So think about that. Think about just enjoying some calm for just a couple of minutes. And we'll try that a little bit later on. So, all right, this is the bad news pretty much. There are physical changes in your body from stress, and stress can cause illness. Okay, we're not making that up. That's a real thing. If you are very, very stressed, you can actually lower your immune system and you can be more likely to become ill. But you also can have some stress related illnesses as well. So let's take a look at this list. And you see, maybe it ranges from cold hands, that's a sign of stress sometimes, to something much more serious like nauseousness or pain in your neck, or a headache, or maybe you have tummy issues, sleep disturbances. I mean, all of these things are a result of overstressing your body. And as you can see, it affects all parts of your body. If you look at the graphic there, kind of from head to toe, it can affect your body. This is where we need to say, okay, I don't want to make myself sick from stress, or I am too stressed. How do I keep myself from getting to this place where it's affecting my whole body? Well, we can work on that. So, how can we work on that? Mindfulness is something I'm sure you've heard a lot about in recent years. It's a wonderful term. It's not really new, but people are paying attention to it. And why? It's because mindfulness, being aware of where you are in the moment, right now, in the here and now, if this is what helps to calm your body. Sometimes we need to take a step into mindfulness when we're overstressed. But if we learn some ways about how to calm ourselves and how we can use some mindfulness tips to kind of make life a little bit more settled for us, so we need to be paying attention to that. So it's really about being here, awake, in the moment, right here. So let me give you an example. In this moment, we're talking about mindfulness. You're looking at some words related to mindfulness. You're looking at a picture that expresses what mindfulness could look like. But your brain, this is a very, very busy part of your body. because your brain is always thinking back to the past, right? We're always reliving the past, whether we like it or not. Our brain is always thinking back. It may be thinking back to a half hour ago, or an hour ago, or yesterday, or a week ago, or 20 or 30 or 40 years ago. So your brain is very busy thinking backwards all of the time. But at the same time, your brain is busy thinking ahead into what will be the perceived future. Your brain is thinking, what am I having for dinner tonight? What do I have to do after I finish watch this recording? Do I have enough time to watch this recording? Oh my goodness, holidays are coming. What do I need to do? And you could get your brain very busy thinking ahead to the future. So here's your brain thinking back all of the time and thinking ahead. But in literally, we are right here in this moment. And we need to look at it as a moment. It's not forever. We're staying together in this moment, thinking about mindfulness and trying our hardest to shut out the past and the perceived future. If you can train yourself to be more mindful of what's around you, you can learn to appreciate life more. Seriously. You can learn to look at the smaller things in life as being significant. So think about taking a walk. Okay, let's take a walk for a minute, a virtual walk. Um, you're looking at the sky, maybe you're looking at the trees, or you're watching how the wind is blowing in the trees. Maybe you're looking at flowers or bushes, or you see a wild animal, a squirrel or something going about their business for the day. That is being mindful. It's being in the moment. It's calming your brain. You can train your brain to be calm if you can stay in the moment. And I know this is easier said than done. It's not easy to stay in the moment. We really need to work at that. So let's see how we can do that too. So we need to practice mindfulness, and it's called a practice. That means it's never perfect. That means we're always trying to make this better. But if you take a look on our virtual walk around you and you're really staying and looking at everything around you, and what's also very important is that you're doing this in a non-judgmental way. Okay, you're not trying to criticize nature or the trees or the breeze or the color of the sky today. You're just looking at it for what it is, because it is what it is. It's whatever it is at the moment. And it also means that we are non-judgmental about our perceptions of what we're seeing and hearing and smelling and tasting at the moment. We're just there. We're just in the moment. We're just there. To practice mindfulness, we need to really focus on what's happening in my body right now. And the best way to do that is with doing breathing exercises. It helps us to focus on our breathing and kind of tuning out the past, the future, and whatever else is going on around us. It takes all of your senses to practice mindfulness. So, what are the benefits of mindfulness? Well, there are several of them, and maybe some of these you haven't really even thought about before. It helps us to kind of balance out our mental and emotional health. It can have a huge impact on your health. You can tolerate stress more effectively when you practice mindfulness, because as soon as you get stuck in a brain trap, mind trap, whatever you want to call it, you can say, stop. I know how to do this. I can do some deep breathing, and I can push that to the past, and I can appreciate where I am in the moment. Research shows that you actually can increase your attention span and your memory. We all need that, don't we? When we practice mindfulness. So think about that. We can kind of we can cultivate humility in that accepting things for what it is and appreciating a moment, appreciating this moment, and then this moment. So think about that. Does it help us to become more resilient? Absolutely, because we are better able to deal with life stresses when we're practicing mindfulness. So, mindfulness comes in all kinds of packages. One of the things that we talk about is mindful eating. So, we all eat every day. So, let's think about something as simple as that. How can you be mindful about your eating? Well, there are lots of ways to do it, and there are lots of varying degrees as to how attentive you can be to mindful eating. But it's as simple as creating the shopping list. Okay. That means you're thinking about, what do I want to make for a meal? What do I have on hand? What don't I have on hand? What do I need to make this meal today that will really, maybe it's a special meal. Maybe it's something that you just need to do for you, something that just special for no reason. But it's also about paying attention to the food preparation. And that means spending a little more time, maybe just a few seconds looking at the food. Fresh vegetables, let's say, fresh vegetables have so much beauty in them. So take a few seconds to look at them and think about, how does this look? What about the color of it? Where did it come from? Where did I get it from? But who produced this food? How far did it have to travel to get to me? How do I cut this food up to put it into my soup or whatever? So you can be very mindful about your eating long before you actually start eating in the food preparation. So now let's say you are eating. There is this 80% rule, and some of the healthiest pockets of the world, according to the Blue Zones research, where people tend to live over 100 years old and very healthy at 100 years old. What do they do that we're not doing? Very often, they practice what they call the 80% rule. It means that I am eating until I am comfortably full, not until I feel like I'm stuffed, not until I've had too much to eat. And you can think about holiday food when I say that. Everything tastes good, you want to taste everything, and then all of a sudden you realize, oh wow, I ate too much, because your brain and your tummy are starting to get into sync, and your brain's saying, that's not good, that's too much, now you're over full. The rule is to eat until you're 80% full and then back away and be finished, because it takes a little bit of time for your brain to catch up what your tummy is saying, so that you will say, I have had enough food. Developing a healthy eating environment is very important. And, I struggle with this all the time. I am a multitasker, like so many people out there. So I may be eating something for lunch, checking email at the same time, or, maybe kind of half preparing something that I'm going to have for dinner at the same time. The best thing to do is to just stop and eat. If you can sit in a place that is comfortable for eating, at a table, and maybe it's not at a table, but where there are no other distractions. So keeping, the phone away from you for just those few minutes when you're eating, keeping the TV away from you, and keeping the computer away from you too. So try not to get stuck in that multitasking um, phase where you're trying to do too many things at one time when you're eating, because what you need to do is to pay attention to what you're eating, really pay attention to it. Try not to be a stress eater. I mean, this is a reason for weight gain for many people. So trying to not have your go-to snack foods, which may be high in sodium, high in sugar, high in fat, keeping them out of your way when you're stressed. Because when you're stressed eating, sometimes you just keep eating and eating and eating. It's like mindless eating. You have probably seen people do this. I think of an example in a movie theater. In a movie theater, people can just be watching the screen and eating popcorn, popcorn, popcorn without even thinking about what they're eating. That's stress eating, and that's totally mindless eating. What you need to do is just take a few minutes every day in your preparation of your food, in the eating of your food. Is where did it come from? Is it local? Of course, we always like to have local foods. They're a little bit more nutritious. But did it come from the other part of the country? Did it come from another part of the world? How did it ever get to you? What path did it take? And is it a sustainable food? Mindful eating is really about just stepping back and paying attention to the food, whether you're preparing it or you're eating it. So, a mindful approach to life. Okay, so we focused on food for a minute, but what about like a whole mindset of how do I do this? First of all, keep it simple. Try to keep your life as simple as you can. I know that's easier said than done, but simplify some parts of your life. Maybe it's organization in your home. Maybe that helps you to feel more in touch and more in control of things. Or maybe it's simplifying your relationships with other people. You know, some people have toxic relationships with friends or whatever. And if simplifying that relationship means stepping back a little bit, maybe that's what you need to do to maintain your own sanity and to be very mindful. Try to create a healthy environment as much as possible. You know, a bright environment to work in. This makes a huge difference for me. I'm sitting in front of a window now, and it is a sunny day outside, so it's bright. It feels cheery. How do you feel when things are dark? And maybe there isn't any sun for a little while. It really does affect people. Make a healthy environment. Keep it clean, keep it simple, keep it happy and what you're all about. Keep yourself calm. Okay, that's hard. But try to not have so many things going on at the moment that you can't just slow down for a few minutes, do some breathing, just chill out, like without any distraction around you, and just give your brain a little bit of a chance to rest, because that's really what mindfulness is all about. You want to put a positive vision into your day, and this also goes with setting an intention for your day. A mindfulness tool to wake up to is this. So you wake up, you haven't gotten out of bed yet, and you can just be calm for a few seconds and not get caught up in what do I have to do today and how am I going to get all these things done. Think about, what am I grateful for? Am I grateful that I have a place to sleep, that I woke up today? Are you grateful for another day? I mean, keep it that simple. What is your intention for the day? And it could be something as simple as, today I'm going to take 5 minutes to take care of myself. That doesn't sound like very much to ask. You could say, today I'm going to take 30 minutes, or I'm going to take an hour, or maybe I'm going to take the whole day and focus on self-care. But 5 minutes can do so much for your mental capacities, your memory, how you feel, and your health. So set an intention. What is it? Today, I'm going to take a walk around the block. Today, I'm going to choose a new healthy food. Today, I'm going to listen to music when I get stressed. So keep it that simple and express that gratitude for what it is you have, and what you have the ability to do. So it's basically focusing on the positive, not the negative. So what calms you? I'm sure there are things on this list that calm you. Maybe a few of these things actually stress you, but for somebody else, they may be calming. Some people react really well to calm music. And I think of this with babies, that babies love calm music and it helps them to, to focus on this is calming me down. And you can actually train a baby to appreciate that calm music before they go to sleep. They kind of get conditioned that the music means it's time for me to rest. Well, that can happen for you, right? Maybe some of these other things, and the things that work for me may not work for you. My calming activities would be cooking and walking. So they're a little bit more physical than just a sitting, resting type of calm, but they are the things that I really like to do. So find those things that you really like to do and find some time in your day where you can enjoy those things. Some people love puzzles, right? Puzzles can be very calming for some people. For other people, they can be really stressful. Do you have hobbies? Maybe this is a good time to think about a new hobby. Maybe there's something you've always wanted to do. And you can go on YouTube and learn how to do lots and lots of different things. So there's not a huge investment of your time or your money to learn something new. Some people like laughing. Actually, most people love laughing, and that helps to calm you too. I love this saying from Mark Twain, and it certainly holds true today and every other day. I'm an old man now, and I have known a great many problems in my life, most of which never happened. We all do this. We stress over what's going to happen. um, let's say you're going to be having a holiday meal and you are doing the cooking, and you can play and replay in your mind over and over again all the terrible things that can happen where the food doesn't go right and Uncle Louie shows up and he's in a mood and he doesn't get along with Aunt Lucy, and there's friction, and you play this in your mind over and over again and you get so stressed about it. And then when the time comes, the holiday comes, you're very organized and everybody's fine that day and everything is good. And you didn't have to worry about that. That's what Mark Twain is talking about. That lots of times we create a lot of problems in our own heads that really don't ever happen. So me time. It sounds kind of selfish, I think, in a way, but it's not selfish at all. Because remember, if you don't put your oxygen mask on first, you can't help anybody else. You need to take care of yourself and your brain health. And the way you can do that is with adopting some healthy lifestyle tips, getting physical activity every day. And I'm talking about something as simple as a walk, eating healthy foods, just taking some time to be calm and doing some of the things you like to do. That's me time. Set aside some me time to take care of you, whatever it is that helps you to feel comfortable. So, can you do this? Can you practice this in your life? Maybe 30 minutes of me time is way too much for you. Start with 3 minutes. Start with 2 minutes. Start with 1 minute and calm yourself down. Try to keep your brain in the moment. And then you'll find you'll like that feeling. And you may want to try for 3 minutes the next day or 5 minutes. And you can start to kind of train yourself how to calm down. So it can be realistic in your life. You can make it happen, and only you can do it. So now what? Here's what we need to do. Sort of a summary. Yep, diet and exercise, diet and lifestyle, super important. There are foods that you eat that create stress in your body. You know these things: sodium, sugar, high fat foods actually put more stress on your body. So if you're really stressed today, You want to avoid those foods. Healthy foods, colorful fruits and vegetables are the foods that what you really need for the best health. Try to have half of your grains in a day be whole grains. Look to foods that have protein in them, like legumes and nuts and beans, because they will give you a protein that's a plant-based protein that is very good for your body. Your body likes that. It's very easy to digest. It gives you the energy and the nutrition you need. Socialization is very important. And sometimes it's easier said than done, especially at this very moment, to socialize because we do have some restrictions. But we can Zoom with somebody, we can FaceTime with somebody. Maybe you normally meet with a couple of friends for lunch once a month. So everybody set a time, set your phone up, FaceTime with each other, and eat your lunch together but apart, because it really does mean a lot. We count on the interaction with other people. So make sure you don't give that up. You need to be active every day. If you are sedentary, your body slows down and you're not going to like the results. And the more slow your body gets, the more it's going to become even more slow as time goes on. You need to get some energy going. You need to get up and moving. You need to appreciate a 2-minute walk if possible. Outside, that's great. It can't be outside today? Fine. Walk around your house, walk around the inside of where you are, and just walk and just kind of breathe and walk. It'll feel really good. Make sure you get enough sleep because, like I said, if you wake up stressed, you're going to have a very stressful day and it's not going to be a good one. Make sure you get the rest you need for your body. And the recommendations are still 8 to 9 hours of sleep at night. Are you getting 8 to 9 hours of sleep? There's the challenge. Think about that. That's a great place to start. Maybe seeing if you can have more restful sleep patterns. Make water your beverage of choice because your body needs water. If you are drinking high sugar, highly sweetened beverages, they're going to raise your blood pressure, and that's not going to feel so good on your body. So drink some water, and you need to take care of yourself. So, okay, we're going to do a very quick breathing exercise. This is a mindfulness exercise. So make sure you don't have anything in your hands. You can, wherever you're sitting is fine, or standing. Sitting is better. Have maybe your hands on your thighs or your hands on the table, nothing in your hands. And let's just close our eyes if you're comfortable with that. If you're not comfortable closing your eyes, then just look down. So your drishti, or your point of focus, would be down low. So your eyes are like softly closed. So let's close our eyes and just breathe. Don't change anything about your breathing. Just breathe. Pay attention to it. How does it feel when you breathe in? How does it feel when you exhale? Just fine tune your senses and breathe. This is your normal breath. It's probably a shallow breath. That's okay. That's your breath. So now let's change our breathing just a little bit. Let's breathe in through our nose and exhale through the mouth, kind of slowly. Let's do it again. In through your nose, exhale. Let's do it 2 more times. And now just breathe normally. Think about your breath. Did it change? Are you breathing faster, slower? Did it calm you? Sometimes a few deep breaths will make you feel very, very calm. So let's just breathe a few more times. Focus on your breathing. Think about inhaling through your nose through the count of 2 or 3. Exhaling through your nose to the count of 3 or 4. Let's do that together. Inhale through your nose. Exhale. Try that again. Inhale. Exhale. Now this time, inhale to the count of 3 and exhale to the count of 4. So let's try it. Inhale. Exhale. One more time. Inhale. Exhale. Back to normal breathing. Notice your breathing. And now let's flutter our eyes open and come back to where we are. Here we are. Hopefully, you have a sense of calmness. Hopefully, you feel a little bit more grounded and centered and calm. And the more you try some of these breathing exercises, the more calm you will be, and your body will react to it very quickly. I really hope you have calm moments in your life. And I wish that you could start today in finding whatever calms you and looking forward to that every day, and maybe make it a few more minutes of your day every day so that you can really be happy and be bright and be who you are, because it really can make a difference in your life. So thank you for participating today in Cultivate Calm in your life. I wish you many moments of calm. Thanks.
Thank you, Joanne. That was wonderful. Really appreciate all the great tips and information you gave to help cultivate that calm. Honestly, I quite relaxed right now doing that breathing exercise.